Hi, I hope you guys are doing well. I'm doing pretty good myself. Today, I want to talk about bidirectional relationships and positive feedback loops, specifically ones that having a better understanding of are going to help you improve your mental health and health in general. Um, so, I'll start with first off what a bidirectional relationship, what that means, right? A bidirectional relationship means that event A in a sequence causes event B, and event B causes event A. So it's like a cycle, right? Um, so one of the ones that we're going to be going over is the bidirectional relationship between deep breathing and reduced stress. So if you breathe in deeply, that reduces your stress. So event A is deeper breathing. You breathe in deeply, and event B is reduced stress. Event A causes event B. Event A, deep breathing causes reduced stress, but also event B causes event A. Reduced stress makes it easier to breathe more deeply. So it becomes a cycle. That's why I advise, or that's why I believe it's very, very important to put deliberate attention towards your breathing, at least in some portions of your day. Obviously, while you're doing something that's demanding and takes a lot of your focus to be able to do well, you're not going to be able to do that. But what I mean is to put your focus on breathing as deeply as you can while you're doing things that take little of your attention. Things like you're cooking, right? If you've been cooking a meal, if you've cooked a meal 1,000 times, it doesn't take that much of your attention to do. And I like to focus on my breathing while I do it. Something else, while you're brushing your teeth, I like to focus on my breathing while I'm brushing my teeth. Going on walks, focus on your breathing then. Really, anything that you're doing that's not very demanding, it's a good idea to focus on your breathing there. So I can go more in depth on this bidirectional relationship. Let me think about how I want to do this. There are more bidirectional relationships. There's a ton more, right? There's more that I'm going to be going over, is what I meant. I think, yes, I will go over the next one right now. The next one is good posture, sitting up straight, it's the bidirectional relationship between good posture, sitting up straight, and a boost of confidence, right? Sitting up straight, standing up straight, whatever it is, good posture causes chemicals in your brain to be released that act or give you a boost of confidence, right? So you sit up straight, you become more confident, but being confident, confidence makes it easier to sit up straight. It makes it feel more natural to sit up straight, stand up straight. Everybody knows this, really, if they just pay attention to their posture when they're anxious. They'll notice that when they're anxious, they're much more likely to slouch over. They look defeated, right? And if you look defeated, you feel defeated. So even if you're not particularly anxious, but you are slouching, just correct that really quick. Just sit up straight, and then that should give you a boost of confidence, as long as you stick with it, right? But that boost of confidence again makes it easier to sit up straight, and then that you're going to be sitting up straight more consistently because of that, and then that consistency leads to even more of a confidence boost. And so from here, I want to go into positive feedback loops. And the reason that I'm jumping straight, it seems like I kind of finished early on that example, but this is also a positive feedback loop if you add in those more or extra details. I mean, this is a positive feedback loop the way that it is, but there are more details to be added that would switch it from being considered a bidirectional relationship because a bidirectional relationship is just between these two different things, event A and event B. But in a positive feedback loop, you have event A that leads to event B that leads to event C, and then C maybe leads back to, there's just more components to the system, right? The cycle. So I was going over good posture, right? So for the extra events that I didn't include when I described the bidirectional relationship is that, so if you have good posture, I did say that it makes chemicals get released in your brain that act as a boost of confidence or give you a boost of confidence, right? So I guess that would be, I did already explain one of the extra components. I just didn't like list it as one of the events. I just use that to explain how it gives you a boost of confidence, because just saying it gives you a boost of confidence isn't very convincing. So event A, sitting up straight, good posture. I should probably sit up more straight. Leads to event B, which is your brain releasing chemicals of confidence. But then also there's event C that's above it. They're not connected. Event C is also that, well, people treat you with more respect when you sit up straight. It's like, it's a psychological thing that's a bad word to describe it, but it's a psychological thing that, or concept maybe, psychological concept that people are going to treat people that look confident as, or with more respect. And if you look like you're anxious and don't respect yourself, people aren't going to respect you. So the other event, again, like I said, is people will treat you with more respect. And that also leads to more confidence. So we have two different events that lead to more confidence. So event A, good posture. Event B and C, event A leads to event B and C, which are separate. Say, my fingertips are the events. They're there, right there. And then they both flow into right here, which is more confidence. And then more confidence flows into better posture. So not only do you improve your confidence when you have good posture because it releases chemicals in your brain that improve your confidence, but it also changes the way that people treat you. And because they treat you with respect, that's obviously going to boost your confidence. You're going to see, like, everybody, no matter what you say, at least subconsciously cares what people think, right? So being treated like you have value is going to make you feel a little bit more valuable, feel a little bit more confident, right? Like, I like to think that I don't care what anybody thinks. Like, oh, I'm just gonna do what's best, right? What's good for me. It doesn't matter what they say. But like, of course, it's going to affect you at least on some level, and whether you notice that or not, right? So those things, they do make a difference, and sitting up straight does make a difference in your confidence for those two reasons. And we can go back to deep breathing, which was also of course, it's also a positive feedback loop, because bidirectional relationships are positive feedback loops. But a bidirectional relationship is just between these two things, right? And then the positive feedback loop could be just between these two things, but it also is more likely to have other elements like here, 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 right? And when I do this, I'm trying to make a visual of like a cycle, right? So for deep breathing, you breathe in deeply, and that causes you to exhale out the carbon dioxide that causes stress, and that carbon dioxide being released causes a reduction in stress, and the reduction in stress leads to deeper breathing. So event A is breathing deeply. Event B is the carbon dioxide that's been released leads to a reduction, or I guess it's just carbon dioxide is released. And then event B leads to event C, which is a reduction in stress. Reduction in stress leads to deeper breathing. Then back to more carbon dioxide being let out of your lungs. And then back to reduction of stress. And then it's a cycle from there. And it's important to understand that the opposite of this is true as well. There is a positive feedback loop regarding the more negative aspect of the same cycle, right? Say event A is some event in your life that causes you stress, right? Maybe no. So say something happens in your life that causes you stress. Then event A is that increase in stress. And then an increase in stress leads to a tighter chest, so it's harder to breathe, tighter lungs. If you ever noticed, I'm sure you've noticed that when you're trying to breathe and you're anxious, you have much more shallow breathing. And if you've specifically tried to make yourself open up your lungs and breathe as deeply as you can when you're anxious, it's still very shallow. It's very hard to consciously make yourself breathe deeply to a certain extent. Of course, you can breathe more deeply than you would without thinking about it, but it does stop after a certain point when you are anxious. So the event A, an increase in stress leads to tighter chest, tighter lungs right here, and then right here, event B leads to, let me think about this, reduction of stress, or increase in stress, tighter lungs, shallow breathing, and then back to an increase of stress. Because, I mean, you could say that, well, in certain cases, if it does get really bad, when you have a panic attack or something like that, and your breathing gets really, really shallow, you're kind of hyperventilating, you start to panic and think, oh, I can't breathe, it's getting hard to breathe. And that leads to more stress, of course. But also, it just leads to more stress because if you're breathing shallow again, you're going to be keeping a lot of that carbon dioxide in your lungs, and that's going to lead to more stress. And that more stress, increase in stress again, leads to even tighter chest right here in the middle, then back to event C, shallower breathing, and it goes on and on and on and on. So I guess the importance of what I'm trying to teach is you really have to put a lot of conscious effort into managing your stress, because it can become a vicious cycle of stress, and then not even just the examples that I'm giving, but there's so many more reasons that stress leads to more stress. Stress makes it harder to make good decisions, and bad decisions lead to more stress. I don't know how many more examples I can come up with right now, but I'm telling you there's a lot, and I've learned them throughout my life, and they're not always going to be in my head, but I know that it's worth it to manage your stress for all these reasons, these mysterious reasons that I no longer know all of them, but I don't want to learn them all again. So here I am doing a good job managing my stress, and I advise you guys to do the same. It's very much worth it. It's very much worth it. I feel good today. I feel like I can talk freely because I don't have this stress that once upon a time I did have. So keep pushing forward, guys. Keep managing your stress. Keep learning. That's a big one. Keep learning. That's what I'm trying to do right now. You're always a student, right? You're never, even though I'm here teaching, I'm still the student. I'm still learning. I'm still learning as I go. Just everybody. That's what everybody should be doing. Learn as you go. So keep working hard, guys.